Okay, so you have in front of you the pre-reading introduction. My recommendation is keep it kind of short and sweet, 3 to 5 minutes. Don't go on and on. So you want a well-planned introduction. Now in reality, you don't have time to write it out like this, but since we're just getting into it, I want us to be very methodical and kind of think about what you might say. So I went ahead and made my thoughts here. And the book I did it with was Polar Bear Alert. It's a DK reader. It's for independent readers, kids who are reading this in maybe guided reading group, 2nd or 3rd grade. And this is how I would introduce it. And I'm just going to read it, and then I'm going to go back through and talk about kind of why I wrote what I did. So, and I want to ask y'all what you think about it too. Okay, so I always start out with a sentence that kind of says, listen and sit up and pay attention and all that good stuff in a nice way. And so I say, let's get ready to read Polar Bear Alert. I see that there's an enormous bear on the front. On the back it says, danger ahead. Hungry polar bears are gathering nearby in search of food. But for how much longer? So just use the resources the text provides. Let the text do the work for you. Let's preview the text together and make our predictions. And so we would do a preview. I call it preview, not a picture walk, because they're maybe 2nd, 3rd grade. Somebody used the term preview. We'd look through they would look at their books too, and we would make predictions. What are we thinking it will tell us? Wait time, right? Tap your foot under the table if you get impatient. And if they don't say anything, share your prediction, right? And say, I'm thinking, and share your prediction. Now I'm going to think aloud about how I strategize when I read. So I might say, when I start a new book, I try to read the table of contents first to get a sense of what I will be reading. I see in the table, and then I would open it up and actually, model looking. I see in the table of contents it has several titles that are making me wonder, why is there a polar bear jail? What would that be like? And I really did wonder that. I'm thinking by looking at the first few pages there are going to be multiple problems in this book, like polar bears coming into town where people live. I remember seeing that on the Discovery Channel about polar bears in Canada moving into town to forage. Did y'all see that show? Mm-hmm. Yeah, reality. I think the title, too, Alert, will tell us there are some problems. So I go back to the cover. As we read, let's pay attention to any problems we notice and see what possible solutions there are to the problems. That last sentence is my segue into the book. It kind of gives the momentum into the text, and it's a subtle way of saying, this is what we're going to do while we read, right? But it's sort of couched in a less commanding language. So let's look at that last sentence again. I said, as we read, let's pay attention to any problems we notice and see what possible solutions there are to the problems. And what I might do is get my dry erase board, and I might just make a problem solution T-chart so that they could see and visualize, oh, that's what we're going to do while we read. List problems, and then on the other side, list solutions. So anything you can do to add to the visual is good. Like have that T-chart already ready. So I kind of bulleted a little bit of what I did. In this introduction, we previewed the text, we looked through it, we looked at visuals like photographs, we looked at the title and the back of the book. So again, let the book kind of do the work for you. And then we made predictions about the content, ideas, what are we going to read about, what, and then the genre. How is this book organized? A lot of kids just open a book and start reading. And you're like, wait, you don't even know how to read it because you don't know what it is. Like if it's nonfiction, we have to slow down and adjust our reading and think about concepts a little more deeply. So you need to model that predicting and previewing. And then I use Teacher Think Aloud, and all Teacher Think Aloud is saying I statements. Like I'm seeing, I'm noticing, I'm wondering. It's a variety of I statements. Others are I'm predicting. You can just kind of use a lot of those in your introduction. So remember, it's about you. You're not asking the kids questions. I didn't have a whole lot of questions in here, but I had a few strategic ones. But I did a lot of I statements. It's about you modeling. And scaffolding. And then lastly, what I did was I highlighted the text structure. The way this text was organized, it was organized around problem and solution. I had to read through the book first and kind of isolate that. Oh, this book's organized in that way, problem solution. Some books are more about cause effect, right? And some it just depends on your book. All right, so does that make sense? And we can stop the video. Thanks.